A wonderfully blessed day to you. I am Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another word of encouragement for you. Truth be told, none of us like moving backward. However, a backward motion does not always result in backward movement. Most times, if not all, the only action that can propel an object forward is an initial backward motion. You don't believe me? Look at this example. This picture shows a warrior with his bow and arrow. The warrior wants to shoot the arrow forward, but he must first apply tension to the bow by pulling it backward before he releases the arrow to propel forward through the air. The greater the backward tension that is applied to the bow, the further the arrow propels forward with speed and precision. If little or no tension is applied, the arrow will not go very far. Now imagine that you are that arrow and the mighty warrior that is applying tension to the bow is God. Psalm 127 verses 4 to 5 reads, "Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them." Where the skilled warrior directs the arrow is exactly where it would go with speed and precision. However, there must first be that backward pulling of the bow before the arrow can be propelled forward. One would think that that backward pull is negative. However, it is known as positive tension. And as we have seen in the example, there are instances where the only action that can facilitate forward propulsion is that initial backward motion. According to Google, positive tension is a stimulating, motivating, productive force that enhances performance and well-being and stretches you toward growth. Even though the bow is being pulled backward, positive tension is being applied, and that backward motion is what allows for a more powerful forward thrust. The backward negative motion is temporary. However, it is mandatory to the act because it stimulates and facilitates the force that is required to propel the arrow forward. That tension builds strength and muscles, and it equips the warrior for battles and challenges to come. This analogy can sometimes be applied to the experiences in our lives. God, as the mighty warrior who creates our destinies, knows the targets that he wants us to hit, and so he will apply the necessary tension to our bow that will ensure that we, the arrow, hit the target head on. This tension that is applied shows up in the form of trials and storms of life, and as we, the arrows, go where the mighty warrior is directing and sending us, we will be able to overcome every trial, every storm, every affliction, and be propelled with precision to where God is directing us. Look at Joseph's path to destiny between Genesis chapter 37 and 41. If Joseph was not forced to make that initial backward motion from being his father's favorite to being hated and betrayed by his brothers, who sold him into slavery, which landed him in Potiphar's house, only to be falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, which landed him in the king's prison, he would never have met the chief butler who connected him to destiny by remembering that he was in the prison and recommended him to interpret the king's dream, which brought him into his destiny and saw him being the governor over all Egypt. So do not despise your initial backward motion. It may very well be preparing you for forward propulsion that you would never be able to make without that initial backward motion. I trust that this message has been a source of encouragement and edification to you. God bless you.
For all my days, I love you, wondrous